Now listen carefully. In light of what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 6 here, we should be seriously concerned about how impulsively our minds are darting from one thing to another from moment up to moment throughout the day. You see, for example, we look upon digital distractions as an acceptable thing, but fail to recognize the greatest danger is what they are doing to our spiritual lives. This is significant again. Let me tell you where I'm coming from. Distractions of any kind, if not controlled, can waste our time, dull our spiritual senses, divert our minds from the eternal realities that are so vital to our spiritual well-being and eternal future. Let me give you a scenario. Here is a Christian believer. He has to be at work at 8 o'clock. He gets up at 6 o'clock. To have time with the Lord, to do his devotional exercises. But en route to his living room, where he's to take his Bible and to open in prayer, he checks his smartphone. He notices that he misses a phone call from the night before. He listens to the voice message. Immediately his mind races to what he needs to do, what he needs to say in response to that phone call. And then he notices before he puts it down that he has so many likes on his Facebook account. And then furthermore, he sees that he has a private message or two. What's that about? So he begins to explore those messages, and one of them is of a serious nature that demands an immediate response. So what he does, it takes him 10 minutes to formulate a message, to write it with discretion, and then to edit it. By this time, it's 6:30. He takes his Bible, he tries to focus his attention upon the truth of God's Word, but it's very impossible because his mind is constantly going back and forth as to what he needs to say or what he needs to do in regard to these things that he's read on his smartphone. It is interesting that Tony Reinke, once again, in that same book, 12 Ways Your Phone is Changing You, said that 8,000 Christians that he surveyed, 54% admitted to checking their smartphone within minutes of waking. When asked whether they were more likely to check email and social media before or after spiritual disciplines on a typical morning, 73% said before. Now, brothers and sisters, listen, you sit there and you say, this has got a tone of legalism to it. I'm not saying that you're to go out and throw away your cell phones. God forbid. But I'm saying something needs to happen here. We need the reign of the Spirit in our life to learn how to regulate our cell phones so that Christ may be preeminent in our thoughts.